Hello, Dan here, and welcome to Escape the Box Piano. In this tutorial we're going to be looking at the lovely Comptine d'un autre été l'après-midi, excuse my terrible French pronunciation, by Yann Tiersen, which appears on the 2001 film Amélie. Now, in terms of complexity, I would suggest that this is an intermediate piece. There aren't too many notes to learn and the entire piece is relatively short. However, it's a bit of a finger twister and an endurance exercise. So if you are relatively new to the piano, I would recommend that you do a lot of finger exercises before attempting this. Let's dive in. We're going to start by looking at the left hand, and this is 4 bars which, when we've learnt them, repeat for the entire piece, and they set up a repeating pattern, and in each bar there is only one change per bar. With middle C here, we're going to stretch an octave with our thumb on the E above middle C and 5th finger on the E below. That then alternates with B with our 2nd finger, and then we're going to lay down E and G with our 4th finger, back to the B, and then that repeats for the other half of the first bar. In the second bar, we make one change. We move from our octave E's to octave D's. Everything else stays the same. So now we have D, B, D and G, B, and then that repeats. In the third bar, the change is to move the G with the 4th finger to the F sharp. Everything else stays the same. So we have our octave Ds, and then B, and now D and F sharp, and that repeats. And finally, with the 4th bar, we move from the B with our 2nd finger to the A. So now we have D's and A, D and F sharp again, back to the A, and that repeats. And now we've learnt our entire 4-bar pattern, we simply go back to the first bar that we learnt. And we move on from there. So, if I play a couple of cycles of the left hand very slowly. So you can see now why this is going to be a bit of a finger twister. I recommend that we start this extremely slowly. However, the final performance at record speed is 100 beats per minute. With a metronome on, this will sound like so. Let's take a look at the right hand now. There are 4 sections in the right hand. The first section, here's middle C. We're going to start on G above middle C with our 3rd finger. We're going to play the G, and then to the F sharp, and to the G, and then B, C, and B. In the second bar, we're going to start on the F sharp, up to the G, and then back to the F sharp, then G, A, and G. In the third bar, F sharp, E, and back to the F sharp, and then B, C, and B. And in the fourth bar, F sharp, E, F sharp. That then repeats. After the repeat, we move into the second section. We're going to move, here's middle C, we're going to move up to an octave above middle C and then E with our 5th finger. So the first bar is going to be E and then B. And then D and B. Then F sharp and B. And then F sharp and A. The third section, we introduce some chords. So we're going to play in the same place, roughly, and we've got our 2nd finger on B, 5th finger stretched up to the G, and that's then going to move to G with our thumb here, and E with our 4th finger. In the second bar, we're going to play the same top chord, B and G, and then that's going to move to G and D with our 3rd finger. In the third bar, we're going to bring our 5th finger down to the F sharp, stay on the B with our 2nd finger. That's going to move to the F sharp with our thumb and D with our 4th finger. And in the fourth bar, still on the F sharp up top with our 5th finger, move the 2nd finger down to the A, and then that is going to move down to F sharp with our thumb and D with the 4th finger. The fourth section in the right hand is the fastest moving and arguably the most difficult. It's all 16th notes or semiquavers from middle C up to just below the octave, and we're going to start with our thumb on B and E and B, and that's simply going to repeat B, E, B, B, E, B, B, E, B, B, E, B, B, E, and then C, E. That's the first bar. In the second bar, we make a small change, go back to the B with our thumb, move our 2nd finger to the D. The second bar then becomes B, D, B, B, D, B, B, D, B, B, D, B, B, D, A, D. In the third bar, we're going to move down. Thumb on the F sharp, 2nd finger on the B, 5th finger on the F sharp. Finish with G and B. And in the fourth bar, bring our thumb up to the A, 2nd finger on the D, 5th finger on the A. and finish with G and then D. And then that cycle repeats. We move back up to the B, the E and the B. And so on. At the end of that second cycle, the final bar, we're on the A, D and A. It looks like this. And then hold on to the A at the top for an eighth note, or a quaver. The entire right hand, everything that we've learnt, all four sections, now gets repeated one octave higher. So, with middle C here, this was our original starting point on this G. We're simply going to take that and we're going to move it up one octave. So everything that you've already learnt, you can simply take from this area of the keyboard to this area of the keyboard. We now need to see how the left hand and right hand hook together. We have an introduction section where the left hand pattern cycles through once. When it starts for the second time, that's when the right hand comes in. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar. And of course that then repeats. Section 2 hooks together like this. Second bar. Third bar. And the fourth bar. Third section hands together. Second bar. Third bar. Fourth bar. And the fourth section, hands together. And the second bar. And the third bar. And the fourth bar. and then of course the cycle repeats. And so on, until finally the end of that section with the fourth bar. And then we start the entire thing again with the octave up. And so on. The piece continues, and then we get to the end, and the last couple of bars of that fourth section slow down. They have a rit, and then we have a final chord at the end. Let's play through that. So we are up here on the F sharp with the B and the F sharp in our right hand, and then down in the bass on D. And now we're going to hold the chord in the left hand and play A in the right hand, D, A, G, then we're going to stretch and play E and G, and in the bass we're going to play B and E. Before we have a short performance of this, let's think a little bit about the sustain instruction that's given to this piece. It's suggested that we use the sustain pedal and we hold it down for every half measure or bar, and then lift it and then press it back down again, lifting again at the end of the bar. If we listen to the left hand pattern with sustain added, it would sound like this. Lift, lift the pedal again, put it back down, lift the pedal, put it back down, lift the pedal, put it back down, lift, back down, lift, back down, lift and back down. That one more time. That one more time. And so on. To listen to a short performance of how this all comes together, please click on the link that's appearing on the video overlay now, or the link in the description below. Well, I hope you found this lesson enjoyable and useful. As always, please do subscribe for more tutorial videos and everything piano related, and I'll see you soon.